Hello, my Warriors of Light, and happy Friday. I just wanted to bring you a quick video real fast to let you all know how much I love you, how much God loves you, and how powerful you are, Warriors of Light. Now, I am not going to go over anything super crazy today. I'm just going to introduce myself. As some of you may know, my name is Clint. I am the Warrior of Light. And my mission is to share with you all some knowledge and other things that you may not have even thought about, and to help you understand this world we live in. Because as you know, this world is not what we've been told. We've been lied to, and it is, I've made it my mission to help shed some light on some of the mysteries that the world has hidden from us. So, yes, my name is Clint. I'm 36 years old. I grew up in California, Southern California, by Disneyland, ironically. So I went to Disney a lot. I loved Marvel before Disneyland. Thank my dad for that. He collected Marvel comics with his brother when he was younger, and he shared all the stories with me. So I guess you could say storytelling is kind of in my blood. I'm going to tell you stories that don't necessarily come with hard evidence, as you all know it. My philosophy is more researching, watching videos, listening to other people, looking at what's going on in the world today, and connecting the dots. Connecting the dots because there is a mass understanding in the world. Keyword under. People understand a lot of the things happening in the world today. To do what I do, and many others, it requires more of an inner standing, or an intuition, your third eye, which is why I'll mention again, so important to get that decalcified. Limit all the poisons that you're ingesting into your system. Get a water softener or a reverse osmosis water filter. Not just one of those regular water filters. You need an actual machine that filters the tap water out. It removes about 95% of the contaminants. Especially here in Arizona where I am, that is very much needed since Arizona water is among the worst in the country. And all the poisons they feed us, poison in our air, the bad habits that we acquire throughout our life, smoking, alcohol. I said in my last video that just don't drink, but I'd like to rephrase that. Alcohol is not bad in portions for the health benefits that a glass of red wine will give you. Don't drink to get drunk. That's just silly. Then you're just inviting spirits to come and possess you. You know, I'm not perfect. By no means do I know everything. I know a little about a lot of things. That is what I'm willing to share with you. If you're interested, please message me and I could do a further in-depth video, or I even have more sources that I could direct you to. My goal is simply to spread love and light and knowledge. That is my goal. If it comes off as condescending to you, or if it rubs you the wrong way, that is something to do with you. That has nothing to do with me. I'm just sharing my knowledge. If it resonates with you, fantastic. I love it. Please talk about it in the comments. I would love to have conversation. If it doesn't, then, you know, thank you for watching anyway, and supporting me as I get my message out there. The one thing that I do know is that this world is run by evil, malevolent forces, and we, as warriors of light, have to fortify ourselves any way that we can. And that includes learning as much as we can about as many different topics, like I mentioned in, I think, one of my first videos. I grew up in Southern California, all of that, went to Disneyland a lot. When I was 7, I was diagnosed with a brain tumor, astrocytoma, in my 4th ventricle of my brain. It was, pretty scary for my family. I was just thinking, oh, this happens to all children. They get sick, they throw up, they have headaches. Yeah, it was more than that, but I didn't quite understand until I was in the hospital and going under for surgery. I had amazing doctors, amazing staff. Above all, God was watching out for me. I truly believe God saved me for a purpose. Well, actually, people always say that. They say, God saved me, God saved him, God saved her. But really, it was all part of the plan. And I know now, looking back, that was a spiritual attack. All health problems are spiritual attacks. That's why it's so important to raise your vibration, raise your frequency, so you can minimize those attacks and better prepare yourself on how to deal with them when they do come. What I wanted to talk about today was the fact that some of the stuff I talk about you may not understand, but if you know me, maybe you just accept me for who I am, and that's great. That's wonderful. That's how it should be. Accept me for what I think. I accept you for what you think. Respect is what it's all about. You don't have to understand someone's beliefs, but you should respect that person regardless. A lot of neurotypical people, that is that, normal brains, they're not going to understand a lot of this because I am neurodivergent. After my brain surgery, I acquired a nonverbal learning disability, and that made life a little bit tougher. A lot of chosen ones, they have life particularly rough simply because they see life differently. And for the chosen, the light tends to shine through us brighter, and that is not because we think we're better than anyone else or whatever. I'm not trying to say that at all. I am just trying to point out that there's a reason neurodivergent people have it a little bit rougher than the rest of us. And that has to do with the fact that I believe the dark forces that be, whether you want to believe the government is just a bunch of corrupt humans, or if you want to go deeper and think, oh, maybe they're the reptilians that everyone's been talking about, the shape-shifting lizard people. That is always possible. I also heard maybe they're the Neanderthals. You thought humans evolved from Neanderthals? Well, I thought that too. And then I did some more research, and I'm seeing that Neanderthals are completely separate. And they're the ones in the government right now. Regardless, evil exists, and it is our job to be able to recognize it, to be able to pattern recognition. Pattern recognition, that's what I mean when we connect the dots. We connect the dots with everything going on in the world. It's very interesting, very strange how a lot of things get swept under the rug just because there's no physical proof of it. When there are stories, the Bible is a story. It's a man-made story. The story is, it's divinely written by God, which, okay, but through men. Through men. And a lot of people are worshiping this book instead of worshiping God. For example, a lot of things never sat right with me when I was younger. Not just in society, but in the religion I was brought up in. You're going to tell me an all-loving, all-powerful, amazing God would flood the entire earth. Some people say is because the Nephilim, or fallen angels, were on earth and God wanted to wipe those out. If you go into Gnostic teachings, they say some of us were given a spark, and the demiurge, who is the fake god of the Old Testament, according to Gnostic scriptures, he was a pretender, a fake god. There's a lot of different interpretations of the Bible, and it's just very interesting to me that that people don't research this more. They don't look into it more. They're just stuck in their bubble. You know, the more I thought about neurotypicals versus neurodivergence, and we're not versus each other by any means. We need to unite, come together. That is also part of my message. But anyway, neurodivergence, their brains are afflicted with something that makes them less worldly, and so by contrast, more in touch with God. You can't program a neurodivergent person because they're on their own programming. The dark forces that be have designed society to affect the neurotypical human brain. I don't think they accounted for the neurodivergent people to rise up and actually speak out. And if you are neurodivergent and you've thought about starting a channel, spread a message, talk about something, just do it. I mean, that's what I did. However, I've always wanted to, and I never did. I thought it was fear. It was partly fear, but I wasn't meant to start a channel based on the lies that we've been told throughout our history. Isn't it ironic that the dark forces that be tried to take us out and only made us stronger, only made us closer to God? It's like their own downfall. I really felt a calling after I felt fully awakened. That's going far a stretch. I don't think anyone here on earth is fully awakened. There's different levels of consciousness. Of course, most people are living in the 3D consciousness, which is the world, worldly things. And then there's the 4D consciousness, which is a little bit higher learning, higher frequency. That's where I felt like I've lived my life. I wasn't too keen on participating in the 3D world. I still am not. Then the 5D consciousness is that of actual mastery. Now, I've talked about I've mastered my emotions. No, I am on the way to mastering my emotions. I am like everyone else. I get angry, sad, upset. But when you have one of those moments, just pause, view the thought, ask yourself, is this really worth me getting myself upset over? And most of the time the answer is no. One example I could use that is very much justified, the Jeff Files. People have been saying for years that there were some powerful men trafficking children, and we didn't really know how deep it went. It was all speculation, all theory, but then the Epstein Files came out and we're finding out they're eating babies. That was upsetting. That made me angry. I transmuted those emotions into passion. I have passion for this subject. I'm never going to stop talking about it. I'll probably mention it more on this channel. That's just who I am. I'm not going to let injustice stand. And the only way it seems we can do something about it is collectively coming together and realizing that we are more than this simple human vessel. Like I mentioned before, we are not our bodies. We are operating outside. If you look at the Gnostic texts, we're a God race. We are not the God, the creator. We are emanations of him, but we are not him. I talk a lot about Jesus and being like Jesus, and that's why I'm doing what I do, because Jesus did not stand for broken religion, for lies, corrupt systems. I am like Jesus. I say all the time, f the system, because the system is not broken, working exactly how it was meant to. And that should concern everyone and get everyone pumped to learn more about where they came from so we can put an end to it. Like I said, a lot of people know, but they don't think they could do anything about it. A lot of people know they're poisoning themselves with all this food and water and microplastics, yet they don't do anything to change it. Or some of them do. And then for convenience sake, they revert back to their old ways. And I'm here to tell you, convenience over health is no good. I've done that myself. I've seen other people do it. I am just not about that. Whatever you believe as far as religion, politics, well, for one, politics is a joke, right? Politics is just a clown show. We all know that. Yet people still follow it. The thing with religion is people have attached their identity to this religion. And that is dangerous. You are worshiping a book made by men that pretends to have the answers to get you to heaven, when heaven, if you look at the Gnostic texts, is a state of mind. We have been fooling ourselves into thinking we need to look outward, and not that this is anyone's fault, because we've been told all of our lives that if we look inside of us, we're flawed, which is true. If you haven't dissolved your ego and you still think you're what everyone has told you you are, that makes sense. But if you've dissolved your ego and you can see through all the bullshit, then you know that there's something else. Every religion is just a piece of the puzzle. You know, do I believe in reincarnation? I mean, it makes sense. Why would God just give us one chance and then, oh, you didn't make it? All right, you're out. You're out. Straight to hell with you. No. I believe God gives our soul as many chances as it needs to reincarnate here on earth and get it right. Am I saying that's correct? No. Am I saying that's what I believe? Absolutely. They say that the rapture will happen and we'll go to heaven when Jesus comes back. But it's been interpreted, in my opinion, incorrectly. I believe that when we ascend our consciousness, we will become more like Jesus or Yeshua. I'm going to use Yeshua from now on because that's what they called him in the Ethiopian Bible, which I have. And it's crazy. You know, one of the books they took out of the Bible was the Book of Wisdom. Why would you take wisdom out of the Bible? I mean, red flag, right? Has all the 20 books they took out. Now, I think if you look it up on the internet, it's something like, oh, well, the Gnostic texts weren't written until 2,000 years later. And no, they weren't discovered until 2,000 years later because they weren't added to the canon of the Bible. It didn't fit the narrative. When you read the books that were missing, it talks more about self-enlightenment, how the kingdom of heaven is within us, how we are powerful beings. Like, we just need to, like, we are literally like Yeshua. And a problem with that is Christianity has framed being all-powerful, like Jesus, as like some sort of sacrilege or negative thing. Like, no, if you say you're like Jesus, you can't be like Jesus, you're just a human being. I disagree. I can only speak for myself. I have so much love in my heart. I mean, why else would I be doing this? I know a lot of people have a lot of love in their heart. Why else would they do what they do? Why else would they help others? Why else would they... I mean, I could tell you, and I know people like this, they would help others to put on a mask. It's crazy when you're on a certain vibration, a certain frequency, you can see through people. You can see through the fakeness. You know who they are. I have people like that in my life, unfortunately. Everyone does, whether it be family, friends, neighbors, and all we can do is distance ourselves from them. You know, you don't want to deal with that bad energy. You have to protect your energy at all costs, no matter what. The world literally needs us. And If that means cutting certain people out of your life, whether it be family, friends, or neighbors, maybe people you've known for your whole life, you don't have to cut them out necessarily, but you need to distance yourself. You need to protect your energy. Surround yourself with people that are on the same frequency, on the same wavelength, because if you don't, they will drain you dry like the emotional vampires that you are. They can't stand that you are so full of light and they have so much darkness, and instead of looking inside themselves, they gotta villainize you. Trust me, you will not meet anyone to vilify you faster than someone who knows you see through their game. I do not know a holy man that hasn't been a whore. What I mean by that is it can be literal or just figurative. Just someone that's not necessarily practiced what they preach. I'm preaching love, light, knowledge, not filling your life with poison. And that's exactly what I did when I was younger. I wasn't perfect. Maybe I wanted to spread my love too much. And so I did become a bit of a man whore. But the message was the same. I still wanted to spread love. I was just doing it incorrectly. You can infuse as many people you want with your light, but at the same time, you can be corrupted by their darkness. So that's why you have to be careful with who you share yourself with. Your time, your energy, just whatever. It's all valuable. I just wanted to give you a little bit about who I was, who I am, why I'm here, and I want you all to know that I love you. You are powerful. You are amazing warriors of light. And even if some of you don't get it, like I said, neurodivergents are going to get this much faster than neurotypicals. A lot of neurotypical people, and even some neurodivergent people, they won't wake up because influences, life, it keeps you down. What can we do except better ourselves? And if you're trying to better yourself, I don't see how you can't wake up. Because when you take accountability for your actions, responsibility for yourself, and you don't depend on others' validation to tell you what's right and wrong, you should already know in your heart, we are connected to God and He knows all. He is supremely good, and we should be supremely good. When we're not, it shows. For example, littering. That's always been one of my big things. I just don't like littering. Why? Like, just put it in your pocket or carry it with you. Find a trash can. It's not that hard. But me, for example, I see litter on the ground that's not mine. What would the normal person say? Oh, that's not mine. I don't have to pick it up. If I do that, and this has happened before, where I think, oh, that's not mine. I don't have to worry about it. Someone else will get it. It's someone else's job, It's all of our job, first of all, to protect Mother Earth. You guys thought I was done, huh? After I said, well, I just wanted to tell you who I was. Well, yeah, I was thinking about it, and then I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to keep going a little bit longer. I like to spread my light, spread my love. That comes out in talking. What can I say? Telling you, meditation really helps. I know it sounds woo-woo crazy, but meditation, grounding with your bare feet in the soil, in the grass, sunlight, plenty of sunlight, help decalcify that pineal gland and activate it. There's just so much people can do that they just think is ridiculous because either A, they don't believe in it, or B, they've been told not to believe in it. I mean, usually B leads to A, right? But that's how everything works. You're told to believe something, you develop your, as we talked about, your egregore, your thought patterns. Egregore is more of a collective thought pattern. And so you develop that egregore about, oh, I don't have to do this. This isn't my trash. But I'll tell you what, if I see a piece of trash and I ignore it like that, I'm having a lot of spider sense moments lately where I know it's wrong. That's literally the source telling me that's not okay. You know? And so I go back and I pick up the trash and I take it and throw it away. I mean, I was told all my life, I tried to do that when I was younger. And I would be told, oh, that's dirty. You don't know where that's been. Or you could get sick. I mean, maybe. But 9 times out of 10, it's just trash that someone was too lazy to throw away into a trash can. It's just common sense, you guys. It's just common courtesy for Mother Earth. Common courtesy for your fellow man. People have such big egos that they think they don't have to contribute. That they think they don't have to be the light. And honestly, that's what we are. And like I said, a lot of people won't get that in this lifetime. And that's okay. All I can do is speak to those who are on the cusp of understanding, and hopefully my words help to awaken them to the truth that this world is just a lie. Everything. I mean, history, politics, obviously. Religion, all pieces of a puzzle. I also wanted to mention to you guys, I know I have my Meta glasses, but I usually only wear those outside when I'm recording videos because it has a built-in microphone. Otherwise, they're off because the sun can't reach your eyes or your pineal gland without proper pathways. Sunglasses and transition lenses. Yet another way the dark forces have sabotaged our bodies. Anyway, Warriors of Light, this video is getting a little long, so I just wanted to tell you, again, I love you, you're amazing, you're incredible. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you tune in next time. I'll have more topics, more informational videos, and that's what I want to do. I just want to spread the light, spread the love. Share this with someone that you think would benefit from knowing that they're not alone. If you or someone you know is confused, is questioning the world right now, please let me help you. Let me help you understand. Like I said, I don't know everything, but I know enough. Anyway, Warriors of Light, peace and love forever. I love you all. Remember, it only takes one spark to start a fire. By the way, what that means, the divine spark within us. It only takes one of us to make change, which is part of the reason I started making these videos. I want to make a change. I want people to see. I want people to stand up for what's right and not for what's convenient or easy. The right thing to do isn't always the easy thing. In fact, seldom is the easy thing. So come with me, raise your frequency, and together, let's have a revolution. And I don't mean a revolution like Civil War revolution. I mean a revolution like, the Jesus revolution. A revolution of love and light and community and cooperativeness, working together to build our own communities outside of this system that wants nothing but to take our energy and hard work and use it for their own evil ends. Now, Warriors of Light, it only takes one spark to start a fire. Stay awake.